Living is a 2022 British drama film directed by Oliver Hermanus from a screenplay by Kazuo Ishiguro. Adapted from the 1952 Japanese film Akiru, directed by Akira Kurosawa, which in turn was inspired by the 1886 Russian novella The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Leo Tolstoy. Set in 1953 London. It depicts a bureaucrat in the County Public Works Department, played by Bill Nighy, facing a fatal illness. Living had its world premiere at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival on January 21, 2022, and was released in the United Kingdom on November 4, 2022, by Lionsgate. 2. The film received positive reviews, with Nighy's performance receiving particular acclaim, and at the 95th Academy Awards was nominated for Best Actor, Nighy, and Best Adapted Screenplay. The film has the participation of the following actors: Bill Nighy as Mr. Rodney Williams, Aimee Wood as Miss Margaret Harris, Alex Sharp as Mr. Peter Wakeling, Tom Burke as Mr. Sutherland, Adrian Rollins as Mr. Middleton, Hubert Burton as Mr. Rusbridger, Oliver Criss as Mr. Hart, Michael Cochrane as Sir James, Anant Varman as Mr. Singh, Zoe Boyle as Mrs. McMasters, Leah Williams as Mrs. Smith, Jessica Flood as Mrs. Porter, Patsy Ferran as Fiona Williams, Barney Fishwick as Michael Williams, Nicola McAuliffe as Mrs. Blake.
Rodney Williams is a senior London County Council bureaucrat in 1953 London. He sits at his desk surrounded by high piles of paperwork and seems uninspired. A group of women, led by Mrs. Smith Leah Williams, petition the council to have a World War II bomb site redeveloped into a children's playground. They are sent with their petition from department to department, but to no avail. Mr. Williams receives the petition and adds it to his pile of paperwork, making clear to his colleagues his intention to take no further action. When Mr. Williams receives a terminal cancer diagnosis, he neglects to tell his son Michael and daughter-in-law, Fiona, instead opting to withdraw half of his life savings, purchase a lethal amount of sleeping medicine, and commit suicide in a seaside resort town. Finding himself unable to go through with it, he gives the sleeping medicine to Mr. Sutherland, an insomniac writer he meets in a restaurant. Moved by Williams' story, Sutherland takes him for a night on the town, where Williams replaces his traditional bowler hat with a fedora. In a pub, he sings The Rowan Tree, a Scottish folk song from his childhood. Returning to London but not to work, Williams runs into Miss Harris, a former colleague who took up a position at a Lyons corner house restaurant while he was away. Williams' nosy neighbor spots the pair having lunch and tells Fiona, who demands Michael speak to his father about the potential scandal. Meanwhile, Williams attempts to tell Michael about his diagnosis, but neither find themselves able to bring up what they need to talk about. As Williams' condition worsens, he attempts to spend more time with Harris, whose youthful vigor he envies and would like to regain before he dies. Realizing the best way to spend his remaining time is to do some good, Williams rallies his office to construct the children's playground. Though he is able to push the process through by standing up to his colleagues and superiors, he dies shortly after construction is finished. At his funeral, well attended by the people he has helped, Michael guesses to Harris that Williams told her about his diagnosis but not him. Inspired by Williams' actions, his former colleagues pledge to uphold his example, but soon revert to their old ways. Mr. Wakeling, who joined the office shortly before Williams' diagnosis, reads a letter left for him by Williams instructing him to remember the playground when he gets discouraged. Visiting the playground, Wakeling meets a police officer who tells him that he saw Williams there shortly before he died, rocking in the swing in the snow and singing The Rowan Tree. The constable feels guilty that he let Williams sit in the cold in his condition. Wakeling consoles the officer, saying that Williams was likely happier in that moment than he had been for a very long time. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 96% based on 189 reviews, with an average rating of 8/10. The site's critics' consensus reads, "Living sets a high bar for itself in setting out to remake a Kurosawa classic, and director Oliver Hermanus and star Bill Nighy clear it in triumphant fashion." Some reviews of the audience about the movie. I just got back from seeing this film. Amazing. Touching, sad with a huge life lesson for all of us. I've been a fan of Nighy for ages and he more than deserves an Academy Award nomination for his role in this film. Bill Nighy has the ability to convey deep emotion without saying a word. His expression, demeanor, body language, and the way he holds his gaze is masterful. A truly sublime actor. The trailer is a tantalizing glimpse of what, I'm sure, will be a superb film. I love every performance by Bill Nighy. I'm glad he is being recognized in such a big way for this film and for his amazing career. Fantastic movie that could be set in absolutely any time and place that humans have existed with, not exactly the same story but same lesson to learn so much from. The remake and reverent homage to Ishiguro's Living with screenplay by Kazuo Ishiguro. Oh, I do hope so much that Bill Nighy wins the Oscar for his flawless and sensitive performance. Bill Nighy being his amazing self yet again. Thank you for letting us know about this one. A tale for the soul. The British actor who sums up British acting. A voice to die for. Have a listen to him as Charles Paris in the radio drama. Absolutely wonderful, especially if you like late 60s, 70s music. I know that whenever he leaves this mortal world I will cry for the loss of one of the great actors of the last 50+ years. Who else looks so good in a lounge suit other than Bill Nighy?
On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 96% based on 189 reviews, with an average rating of 8 out of 10. The site's critics' consensus reads, "Living sets a high bar for itself in setting out to remake a Kurosawa classic, and director Oliver Hermanus and star Bill Nighy clear it in triumphant fashion." On Metacritic, it holds a weighted average score of 81 out of 100, based on 40 critics, indicating universal acclaim. The film won many awards such as Hollywood Music and Media Awards, Best Production Design, Top 10 Independent Films, Best Lead Performance, British/Irish Actor of the Year, for Body of Work. What do you think about the movie? Please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and follow to watch the next movies. Goodbye and see you again.